What's up, fellow trauma patients? Welcome back to Erico Blueberry, an unassuming Destiny podcast. My name, as ever, is Chillybin.
Hi, I'm working through CPTSD. My name's Meckii.
Yes, we are all trauma patients in this, the season of the haunted, season of group therapy, the season of seances and hard conversations. We're now, 6 weeks into the story stuff? It seems like there's maybe one more to go after we've done 6 weeks of 7 missions, and there's still a little bit left on that seasonal quest, so we've got a bit to talk about because we missed a couple of weeks. So we might as well talk about that story stuff.
Yeah.
What are you huffing?
You know that Amber Heard conspiracy? I'm doing the Amber Heard, like, she's huffing cocaine in the courtroom, or no, she's just trying to get a booger out of her nose.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, last couple of weeks of story have focused on Caiatl, who, if you remember, was not part of the seance in that sort of season opening cutscene. Seasoning, yeah. Did not apply her spices to the mix. She prefers her meat cooked and unseasoned. It's more efficient that way, so she can get back to fighting.
She's white.
Yes. Colonial much? But
no, I picture her like Miss Trunchbull from Matilda.
Oh, very
it's
good.
It's got Trunchbull energy.
Very good. But yeah, so the way that Eris tells it is because she wasn't part of that initial ceremony, she's not bound in the same way. So the Sever missions that we do concerning her are different in nature. A
little bit different, yeah.
In terms of how they play as a person playing the video game Destiny 2. They're pretty much the same thing. Story-wise, it's a little different.
Her severing felt more confrontational than a reconciliation.
Yeah, she was very much so. She's haunted by the nightmare of Gaul, which is interesting because what is their relationship? I'm still not totally sure.
Yeah,
the impression I get is that Gaul was her like mentor or coach, or like, you know, she learned the ways of the Cabal from him.
But then I thought that, and then other times it almost felt not romantic, but maybe like an organized partnership.
Right. But yeah,
like
because
an arranged, not an arranged, but
yeah. The reason I'm kind of leaning more towards that kind of
mentor
or student kind of relationship is Gaul is in these missions constantly talking about you haven't conquered the humans, the Vanguard. You're working with them. You're therefore weak, and talking like that. Whereas Caiatl's, like in this last week, basically says no, it's compromise so that we don't die, essentially. And so there's, yeah, it's a little different to the other characters with Crow and Zavala, because it's not necessarily trauma from their past. It's more, I'm not sure what it is that she's kind of confronting there.
To be fair, the way Gaul, and this is imagination Gaul, so it might not be completely accurate, but then when you look at the lore and everything else, Gaul kind of treated her and spoke to her like shit. Like, he was terrible to her. And for a mentor and a partnership, I could imagine you respect this person so much, whether it be a mentorship or in a relationship, and they're basically telling you the whole time, oh, you're weak, you're shit, you're terrible.
Yeah, but if it's that more kind of, you know, militaristic relationship, like a drill sergeant kind of, I'm going to tell you what to do, go do it. Like, if it's more about that power and control, then those interactions make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. My note just said, Gaul seems like a shitty boyfriend, to be honest.
Well,
he sounded like an abusive partner. The way he was like gaslight, gatekeeping, girl bossing him.
Yes,
yes. He's just like, you're shit. And she's like, oh, well, I told you this when you were alive. And he was more or less like, no, you didn't. And I was like, excuse me.
Yeah. But yeah, so kind of interesting stuff because also like, Gaul is someone that us, the player character, has a relationship with, with the going back to the Red War campaign.
Yeah.
And they're, the Nightmare of Gaul is making references to that throughout some of this stuff. But yeah, it felt less, I guess, emotionally intensive than the last 4 weeks of the story. Well, the initial 4 weeks were, because it was very much like characters addressing their grief and their sorrow and coming to terms with that. This was more just like rage. I think that's actually like what week 5's mission was called, was rage. And then what's 6's reconciliation, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Crow and Zavala, I feel like a lot more people connected with those stories because we all have things we've done in the past that might not have been the greatest. Obviously not killing someone.
Sure.
I'd hope. Sus.
I played the fifth.
Among Us. But then also not just like losing a loved one, because it happens, but also maybe we've left a relationship, or a relationship has fallen apart, and part of you also regrets how that relationship ended, or even for some of us that the relationship ended, or they've lost, maybe not in the same way Zavala did where they're gone, but maybe you don't have contact with someone anymore and you regret that. Like, I think you can relate to that on a level, on top of like a lot of us have experienced death and loss, and that's relatable as well, I think. But whereas not a lot of us, I guess, function on spite like Caiatl does.
Yeah, and
because when it comes to spite, and I say this all the time on Twitter and to people when they come to me for advice, spite is a very powerful emotion. Invest it back into yourself, because nothing shits a person off more than success. And if they hate you,
it's like the best revenge is living well.
Yeah, like why spend all that spiteful energy on trying to get back at them when you can invest that powerful energy back into yourself and being better and doing better? Because that'll piss them off more. Whereas Caiatl's just like, you did wrong by me, so sacrificial blood combat. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm gonna need one of yours because you took one of mine.
Yeah.
That rage and that spite fuels her in like a very toxic way. I hate saying that, but in a very kind of.
But she's also,
burning bridges kind of way.
Coming from a culture that has a very strong military tradition.
Yeah, yeah.
And so a lot of it's informed by that, and that's why I think. That's where I think a lot of the tension in her story with these weeks comes from. Is Gaul is very much that tradition, saying you are Cabal. You only survive by killing everything in front of you. Essentially, what is it? We eat the mountains and we drink the seas. That comes up in one of them, and that's where
she's breaking tradition by working with the light bearers, and
that's essentially where week 6, this week's story goes. Is her saying, essentially, the Cabal were on the brink of death, and this was the only way to avoid that, was
traditions
to compromise
need to change
and to form alliances and work with people. And yeah, like it was not necessarily as like, emotionally driven as the previous weeks have been, but it still had that, it had a good feeling of resolution with that sort of like 2-week pair like that.
Yeah. I just think in terms of connecting, I think a lot of the audience won't connect emotionally like they might have done with Crow and Zavala, but I think there will be also a lot of more stubborn people maybe in the Destiny 2 audience who will hopefully take something away from Caiatl kind of being like, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to admit that you're wrong, Gaul.
Yes.
And you got to do what you do sometimes to survive, and traditions get overwritten all the time. So,
dude, tradition is just something someone decided to do, kept doing it, and they now label it as a tradition. And I say that as someone who has, like, in their family, changed how we do like Christmas at the end of the year drastically compared to how we used to do it. And like this big thing when I was young, and like multiple events and big family gatherings. And now it's like, no, we're just going to see the people we like. We're going to just hang out and treat ourselves and keep it chill. You know, like you can change your mind about tradition at any point.
As an adult, tradition for me has become, and I appreciate it now, Klaskenit. Pants drunk.
Oh, yes. I
That's tradition for me for a lot of Christmases, is sitting at home in my underwear drinking cold beer, because
it's summer.
I live in a tropical state and Christmas is like 40 degrees.
How does that actually work in Finland? Do you just keep the house super hot? Yeah, okay.
Non-traditional homes typically have big fireplaces. Or multiple fireplaces.
Sitting in front of a fireplace, no pants, getting wasted. That sounds great.
Or a lot of them also have like big potbelly stoves in the center of the house. So you would often just sit around the table, and the potbelly stove, while it's cooking dinner or lunch, would heat the house up.
Yes.
Most modern houses just have induction heating now. Heated bathrooms, heated tile floors, those kinds of things. But traditionally it'd be a hearth, or some of the normal Finns. But some of the nuttier ones sit outside around a bonfire and do it.
Cool.
But we're also talking about the same kind of people who do sauna to ice water bath back to sauna with the birch leaves and stuff.
Yeah. I want to go to Finland. It sounds cozy.
It's wild. You think I'm intense?
Yeah.
I'm domesticated compared to some people.
You're a mild-mannered neighborhood Finn.
I've been Australianized. I'm domesticated.
Fuck.
Compared to some of the bush people.
Oh my god.
Which is their actual name. They just fuck off into the north and then return with big bushy beards.
Oh, I don't know, the way the world's going, that also sounds pretty appealing.
Yeah, they just fuck off and then...
I'm gonna just abandon computers and go live in the woods with the bush people in Finland.
They just all roll through Helsinki once a year to get drunk, restock, and then fuck off.
That sounds kind of nice.
There's like Festival of the Midnight Sun, which is just a week-long party because the sun doesn't go down.
Sounds like a metal album.
Sounds like an Australian metal too.
Yeah.
It's a week of sun.
Yes. Yeah.
So you just piss up the entire week, and then the winter version of that is no sun for a week.
It's like the endless night or something, right?
So they have essentially Burning Man.
Great.
Where they just build these big effigies and big bonfires and just go nuts.
Fuck yeah. Anyway, before this becomes a travel show, so seasons...
Group holiday to Finland. Let's go.
I'm in. So as far as like seasonal story goes, if you go and look at the seasonal quest, there is still a few steps left on it. So that, I'm assuming, will be what we get next week. But we've seen all of the Sever instances, right? So my guess, as much as we don't speculate too much, is the end of that quest is going to concern us, right? We were also
Eris.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Is like we were also in that seance that.
What did we give though? We kind of just sat on our knees and just like with our hands on our hips.
Yeah, I know. I need to go back and watch that to see all the little details. But yeah, I reckon it's either us or Eris or both somehow tied up in the end of this storyline.
So I was going to say, Eris is still being haunted by her fire team, right?
Yeah.
I haven't played like Shadowkeep, so I wouldn't know.
But it's like 5 people, right? That almost needs its own season to deal with all of that. And she's been dealing with that for years, so...
Oh, man. I do love the cutscenes, though, where she's just like, shut up!
She's just screaming at ghosts. Yeah. So I'm very curious to see what they do there. Because, you know, previously with seasonal storylines, you can kind of telegraph how they're going to wrap them up.
What if it's the ghost of Cade?
That would be
huge! The nightmare of Cade?
It would be huge, yes.
It's the Guardian's guilt with not making it there in time?
Yeah, but that's also such a fine needle to thread to
It's
not.
also a little on the nose. Of all the people that we've lost throughout the
Yeah.
lifetime of Destiny and Destiny 2, it's a little bit like, it's there.
But like, there's basically no way to get that right because
No.
I don't want to hear about Cade anymore. I don't think he's that funny or interesting. But a bunch of people are going to be like, no, my boy, blah, blah, blah.
My boy.
Yeah.
Cedric's dad.
Yeah.
My boy.
Yeah, but they're going to be like, oh, no, that's not the way to handle Cade. It's like, well, just don't do it. Do something else. Move
The
forward.
nightmare of the traveler, and you're just being followed by a giant pulsating orb.
Orb.
It doesn't talk.
No,
It's just following you.
I've got it. It's all the weapons that got sunset. It's just all these guns floating behind you.
You
All
said
these
that,
edge
but now
transits.
it's just Telesto. The nightmare
be.
of Telesto.
It's a bunch of guns, and then they all just one by one start turning into Telestos. Or it's all the weapons. No, it's all the weapons from D1 that they're never going to bring into D2.
Mine would just be the ghost of
Icebreaker?
the nightmare of Icebreaker. My boy.
Yeah. God.
I'm not coming back.
No. You know what it is? You're chased. So, you load
Remember
into...
sniping? Never again.
So, like, you know how on the throne world you've got a little bit of Mars there? They open up a little bit more of Mars. You load into that, and there are a bunch of sparrows behind you. It's the Ghost of Sparrow Racing League. Because that's such a bad idea. Don't ever bring that back.
Sparrow racing was only ever good when me and the fire team were drunk.
And I'm saying that as someone who's never played it. It doesn't sound fun. I don't get the obsession.
Get drunk and play some Gran Turismo.
I do that with Forza Horizon. That game is just silly.
It's real dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to take a Ford Transit van and put a V10 in it. Let's go.
We play, what is it? Burnout.
Oh, dude. I love Burnout.
Get drunk. Go play the old Razor scooter game from the PS1.
Dude, I remember playing that. Holy shit.
I only say that because I used a completely legal way to secure PS1 games. Yeah. And just went through my mental catalog of like PS1 games. And like I messaged my brother and he was like, oh, Crash Bash. And I was like, oh, I just got reminded that Crash Bandicoot has a party game.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, oh, the Razor scooter game. You know when you get hit by nostalgia real hard?
Yeah. There's a
Fighting Vipers, that sent me for about 6 hours. I was like, did I imagine this fucking game?
There's an XKCD comic which introduced the concept of nerd sniping someone, which is where you mention some concept or something and their brain can only dive into that now. Don't just disregard whatever you were thinking about before. That is what that is.
This tattoo, nerd snipes on a regular basis.
Yeah.
People look at it and go, oh my God, I forgot that game was a thing.
Yep.
I never played it, but I saw it around all the time. And I was like, yeah, it's one of Insomniac's like earliest things.
Yes.
Just do that with D1 games, D1 guns to Destiny players.
Yeah, you know what's fun is like every now and then when I've got Dim open, you can look at your D1 vault because it's just there. You just click into it.
Mine's just titles, but it's icebreakers.
Every now and then I look at it and I just don't remember any of that shit. Like I've got an Iron Galahorn in there. I don't remember using any Galahorn in D1, but I have one.
It was like when Devil's Lair first came back in. And there was the first time I played it was with you guys. Yeah. And there was a few times I was like, like it hit nostalgia in a really weird part of like where I was almost like transported back to sitting on my share house couch on my PlayStation with my tiny TV, just like, whoa, like See, it just hits you in this weird way.
I've got this like really, I don't know, like hazy memory of D1 because it wasn't until D2 where I regularly had people that I could play with, and especially after like it was basically Season of Arrivals where like our group formed and I was actually playing really regularly. But before that,
it's the Grand Panini, so like
for
2019.
But it was all like that also could have happened at any point, because what I was always missing was a group of people that regularly played it, right? That I could do things with, talk about the game with, that sort of stuff.
Well, yeah,
So,
it could have been as easy as event that we
yes.
all go to, and one of us mentioning it at event, and then all of us getting back and being like, "Yo, we were talking about Destiny at this event. You
exactly.
want to like?"
But my up until that point, like I would basically just do the campaign stuff solo, put the game down for a year, and then come back to it when there's some new big expansion, right? Like I first got it with the D1 Legendary Edition, which was like D1 plus Taken King. And then I just did all the story stuff and did like a couple of the expansions after that, but didn't really get familiar with any of the game to anywhere near the level I am now. But then with D2, I'm like, okay, I know this shit inside out. So when I go back and look at D1 stuff, or I hear about D1 stuff, I'm like, this sounds vaguely familiar, but it also sounds like a fever dream.
Yeah. I could get that. I played it pretty heavily. Like I got the day one special edition white was it the PS4? Yeah, it was the PS4 because it was flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
The day one PS4 with the fancy controller and the white and silver.
Yeah, see, I got
I want to say
I got the PS4 that came with that Legendary Edition, or that you could get with it, and it had like the gold Vanguard symbol on the front and like a bunch of other artwork behind it. So I think that was like just the Taken King version. I think they had a different one for the early release.
I think for me, I got that version, but then like 2 or 3 months after Destiny 2 came out, I think it wouldn't have been The Last of Us. It might have been Infamous Second Son came out. And then Destiny kind of took I played that for ages. And then it wasn't until I got approached by some of my homies who are now like successful Destiny 2 players who were like, hey, PvP's out. Do you want to give it a go?
Right.
And then that was nights or mornings because they were based in the US fucking around in PvP. And then that turned into trials. And then, so yeah, there are some aspects of the Destiny story that I'm a bit cloudy on because I was playing PvP through it.
Yeah.
We only went into the story stuff if there was a gun or an exotic we wanted for PvP.
I mean, that's
how deep.
I
was a sweat.
Like it's still true to a certain extent. Anyway, that's a huge sidetrack. Where were we? Season story. We're almost at the end of it.
Caiatl's story wrapped up. Zavala and Caiatl becoming knitting friends.
Yeah.
Zavala telling Caiatl he will teach her how to knit.
Yeah, I'm enjoying their relationship developing, whatever form it may be taking. It seems
too. They were kind of flirty.
It seems weird to me that people want to treat them as romantically involved.
I don't want to, but there were a couple of instances in week 2 where I was like,
yeah, I don't know where that's going.
But I mean, you can be platonic. You could be plutonic. You could be plutonium if you want to.
Is plutonic when you have sex with aliens? Like, what's happening there?
I'm committed to Pluto and Pluto only.
The dog?
Yes. No. Very gross. I mean the planet. I want to fuck the planet. Okay. What do you think I am? Some sort of freak? You weirdo.
Yeah, my bad.
You can become plutonium if you want to.
Oh, you can leave your friends behind.
Think about it real hard.
Yeah.
You can have a flirtation ship with friends.
A flirtation ship?
Yes. Flirtation ships.
Okay.
Where it's flirty, but it never quite crosses the line of like inappropriate. Okay. There's banter, and then there's like, you know, when you're kind of balancing on that thin line of flirting, but also banter. I was gonna say
that sounds like fucking tightrope walking.
Yeah, I've admittingly got a couple of flirtation ships where they'll never become romantic, but it's fun to have that banter back and forth.
Okay.
Especially when both of you understand that it's not going to turn into anything but romantic.
Sure.
It frees you up to make those kinds of like someone says something and you turn around and go, "You wish," like that
Right.
kind of like banter. I
Yeah.
like to call that like a flirtationship.
Okay.
Or you've got a friend that you're just super comfy with, where you just make the occasional flirty comment, but it's not taken any more than just being a dickhead with each other.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I get you.
Like that's not my job.
Yes.
Or like, not my pig, not my mud.
Yeah.
That kind of like...
Yeah. Like, whenever I'm like frustrated and like, I don't ever say this actually meaning it, but I'll say like, suck my dick. Like, just as an exclamation, and then not my job.
Not my job.
Always just like completely disarms that comment.
Or just, not my pig, not my mud.
Why is there mud? Okay.
I don't judge you.
Destiny 2.
What you want.
Season of the Haunted.
I just want to say, Gaul roasting Caiatl is hilarious to me because he roasts her a few times.
Yeah.
And then you realize that's a figment of Caiatl's imagination, so she's just roasting herself.
Yes. Or like imagining that Gaul would roast her in this specific way, right?
She says to him, "You're a weak shadow of yourself, or a weak version of yourself." And he turns around and says, "I am limited by your own weak imagination."
Yeah.
There's so many layers of like, you just attack you bullying yourself.
Pretty much. It's very
I
good.
thought that was hilarious, but then finally getting to melt the nightmare Gaul.
Yeah.
In the fucking engine. Just flipping that switch and watching him melt. He's like, fuck you.
Oh, that bit. Yeah, the Galran.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because the Gaul fight is like, he's a big dude and it's like in this tight enclosed encounter with like all these barrels and shit in the way.
I just get the scythe and my super and galley and bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, no, setting Galran on fire 2 weeks in a row, that was a lot of fun. And just like, chase me, haha, you're on fire, now you're dead.
That's revenge for all the times he's jump scared me.
Yeah. Big boy just popping out from around the corner, like, I've got 2 knives.
Or you walk down like an alleyway and he's just like, hello. And you're like, no. Goodbye.
Good evening.
There's a clip of him scaring me.
Yeah. That's so good. Oh boy.
That was really good.
So yeah, tune in next week and we'll see how all of that wraps up. I don't know where they're going. I just want to
see if they do Us or Eris.
Yeah. I also want to earn that t-shirt, the Season of the Haunted heavy metal logo.
I've been putting money aside for it every paycheck.
I'm like,
because I know it's going to cost me like $50-$60 at the end.
Hopefully your boy gets a job before that t-shirt comes out.
I'll tell you what we'll do is to save on shipping.
Yeah.
I'll get my shirt sent to you as well. And then I'll just come and get it in October.
It's still the same amount of shipping. It still has to get to Australia.
Yeah, but then we'll split it in half.
No, you can't order them together.
Oh, fuck.
Because it's a Bungie.
I forgot about that.
Because it's a Bungie rewards item. You have to order one shirt by yourself and you cannot combine it with any other item in their store.
That sucks. Because what if you're a couple?
Mm-hmm.
Or housemates?
You have to place the order with your linked account so it's a one-to-one relationship in their store.
But Bungie, what if shipping's expensive because live in Ireland?
They know it is, but I think a lot of it is out of their hands.
Yeah. For a moment then I was thinking just like normal stuff where I'm just like, yeah, we'll just go halvesies in the shipping.
Yeah.
And then I'll just come and get it from you in October.
This is a very fortuitous pivot. Speaking of exorbitant shipping costs, one can only imagine the shipping cost of the Nerf Galahorn, which we will be able
a pallet.
Yeah, we will be able to purchase as of Bungie Day 7/7. So basically, 5 days from now, they're going to open up the pre-orders for that, provided that you've earned it in game, which is just, do you have a Galahorn, which I'm pretty sure everybody has, considering it was free content. Right? Everybody could just get it.
You just had to go to Grasp, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, they put out a bunch of images showing actually how big it is on a person. It is fucking massive.
We I'm about to dox how short I am.
Yeah.
We sat down and figured it out, and one of the people from the server figured out that is if you put it butt
Like,
of the gun
standing
upwards,
up. Yeah.
it'd come up to here on me.
Yeah.
So one of my friends
It's like
wants to
4.5
buy
foot
one.
long.
Yeah, one of my friends wants to. One of the server people is like, when I buy it, and you're here in October, can I please take a photo of you holding it? Because
You know what
it would be fucking hilarious seeing tiny Meckii and then this giant gun.
No, you know what it's reminding me of? You know when you see like people who post photos of fish they've caught on social media and they're always holding it up lengthways? That.
But Photoshop it so it's a Galahorn holding me up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a fish upside down.
Yeah, I do want to get it because I think it's fucking great and dumb and amazing that they made it happen. And there's a whole article it was in the Twab, I think, or they did put an article. They put something out in the middle of the
article
week
about it.
Yeah, and it was going into like the design process, and people from Nerf and Bungie were in there with comments, and there's so much attention to detail. It is probably going to cost the better part of... okay, let's take bets. Between the cost of the item, shipping, and then convert it to Australian dollars, I'm going to go $1,100.
So my Nerf... It's essentially...
Bear in mind, this is a 4.5 foot long product that, unlike anything Nerf has ever produced.
Yeah. A few years ago, in saying that, Nerf made what is essentially a Dragunov.
Okay.
And that thing cost me $300, and that was 4 years ago.
Okay.
I was still in the share house when I bought it, so yeah, 4 or 5 years ago. And it's huge, because it's a Dragunov. It's like... And it launches the big, fat Nerf bullets. That cost me $400 almost like 5 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go 500, maybe 600 for the actual gun itself, AUD.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to say almost $200 for shipping.
So you're sitting at like 800.
800, 900.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, it cost me $65 to get some shirts shipped to me the other day, so...
Yeah, and, you know, supply chains, etc., shipping, etc. Okay, so we're
I'm
basically...
I'm going to say about 900... I think we're around the same, where we're going up towards
we're
the
like either side of $1,000 Australian dollars.
And that it's going to be delayed 6 months.
Well, they've already said, like, it won't ship until, like, October or something, right?
Yeah, but I think it's going to be delayed beyond then, because
I think
the demand...
A lot of demand, yeah.
The demand for it is going to be huge, just judging by the online reactions.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is I'm also really excited for it to get into people's hands, because I'm excited to see people paint it and like modify it to look like the in-game Galahorn.
I want to keep it looking the way it does.
It's goofy.
Yeah, well, that was what was it? Before Weapon Sunsetting, I had a parcel of Stardust shotgun in the game that I put a very bright orange shader on it and referred to it as a Nerf shotgun because it just looked fucking great.
We ran around as the safety crew for a while, where we had the Nerf guns and the orange. We did a DSC as the safety crew one time.
It's real dumb.
Alex was calling himself the OSHA inspector.
He was, yes. I think that was before like the name change stuff got tightened up, and he like actually changed his name to that.
Yeah.
God, what a time. But yeah,
I think
that's coming.
$1,000 is a safe bet, especially in Australia.
Yeah,
and I think most of that's going to be shipping.
Yeah.
Most of it's going to be shipping.
Yeah.
I think the shipping will be almost as much as the gun.
Well, I don't know how it scales, because when I order a t-shirt or a pin, the shipping is always roughly the same amount, and I hope that doesn't track to something like this.
You boys might have to go together and then just split the shipping.
But you can't combine orders. Like, we would have to buy one
I keep forgetting that.
Yeah,
I just find it funny. In October, I'm about to go to someone's apartment purely for the entertainment value of them getting me to, like, if it's there in time.
Yeah.
It
will not be.
Them getting... They just want to see me hold this thing because I'm so small.
Yeah.
They just want a picture of me holding it.
Yeah, no, it will not be here by October.
If you want it that bad, homie, I have a picture of me holding a real rocket launcher. Decommissioned. 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 But it's almost as big as me.
Yeah.
That thing's goofy, and I can't wait to
love it.
I'm so excited for the modding community to get their hands on it, and cosplayers, because like
I just want to see someone shoot someone else with it. Whether that's me doing it or a video of someone doing it, that's what I want. Because like when they first announced it, they were talking about the rounds that it will shoot do not exist in any other Nerf product because it's built to replicate the Gjallarhorn rocket, which is it hits and then other things come out of it, which is just nuts.
I'm hoping it's one of those ones that it's like, you know how you've got the Nerf pool stuff as well?
Like pool toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one launcher kind of thing that launches like wet hacky sacks essentially for like people to catch.
Hang on. The phrase wet hacky sacks. You cannot just walk past that. Sack. I don't want to play wet hacky sack.
That sounds like someone would have that as their Destiny name. Wet hacky sack is near.
It's just a Ziploc bag full of mints.
Just the Destiny name thing reminded me the other day. I was on the moon and I didn't screen cap it, and all it said was Ted Bundy is near. And I was like, no! It was so scary. It's like, oh, I'm a white woman in her 30s. I gotta go.
Target demographic.
I gotta go. Yellow beetle rolls up. There's this water. There's this like Nerf gun that shoots like these big bullets, like the wet hacky sacks, and it makes this fantastic thwomp noise. Okay. You know that noise I do whenever I shoot something in game and it's a rocket launcher and I go thwomp?
Or it's like a grenade launcher sound, that thunk.
Yeah, I hope it makes that IRL just thwomp. I hope it's got a speaker in it and it does the woo. Could you imagine that?
That would be all right.
When you fire the trigger and it does that woo.
Yeah, that's more of a Dead Man's Tale thing, though. I don't know how much the noise
is.
Yeah.
Galley makes like a... When Wolfpack rounds are on,
I guess
it makes like
like when all the other
noise.
Where the rounds track. Yeah,
because that's why I do it. I don't just do it for shits and giggles. It's because I hear it and my ADH brain goes, do the sound again.
Repeat the joke.
That's why I couldn't play Meckii in Overwatch, because like it'd do the
high noon
noise and I'd go...
It's
along with it. It's stupid.
Yeah.
If I had the money, I'd buy one and just have it on the shelf behind me.
Just anytime you're in a call and someone says something you don't like, just shoot the camera with it.
Not even that, just aim it at the camera.
Just say that again.
Big fucking rocket launcher. Just
pull it into frame. What?
Just all 5 foot of me, just...
Yeah.
Howdy, partner.
Holding a Nerf gun that is the same size as you are.
A Lixney baby strapped to me.
Ooh.
Don't talk to me or my sons ever again. Just my Gjallarhorn.
Yeah. Good as. Onto some actual game stuff, I guess.
I suppose. The technical stuff.
Story and store chat. Actually, no. So I've reached...
Welcome to Capitalism Hour with Eric Code Blueberry.
So this week I reached Season Pass 100, which means I've got all of the fucking armor ornaments, so I can look like a good bony skull man.
Screaming skull boy.
Basically just, was it that Nick Cage film, Ghost Rider? Because you sent me a fucking video of the Sparrow. I don't know if you were under the influence, but that video is just you going... I
try to do a Skeletor voice because it reminds me of He-Man. But it's just this chattering skull.
Yeah,
and I thought of Skeletor as soon as I saw it.
The fucking Sparrow that you get off the Season Pass, right at the front of it, there's one of those red skulls that you see on the armor, and it's just like the lower jaw is just moving up and down. But have you also looked at it? The front bits of it look like arms, and then it's like on all fours. Just it's so weird. It's not Waluigi. What are you doing?
It's not a goblin either. But it just, the chattering jaw and the way it looks front on, I just couldn't. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna put a purple and yellow shader on it and see if I can turn it into Skeletor from He-Man.
Yeah.
Beastman.
But yeah, and the
Egregore shell is bright dust.
The what?
And there's an egregore.
Oh yeah.
There's
it's got like the little tentacle arms off the...
a sparrow and a ghost shell that are infected by egregore. I know. I want the just gross is my aesthetic.
See, so, I got that fucking boat ghost shell. The one I think it was like bright dust last week, and I'm using it. It's great.
So am I, but like the moment I get that egregore shell, it's gross time.
So I was running a strike, and I had an armor. I had that boat equipped, and it was like one of those bits where you get to a point, there's a door, you've got a ghost to scan it to open it. It was fucking sideways. It wasn't just like boat facing the thing. It was like on its side for some reason, and I lost my shit.
Every time I think of ghost shells fucking up, I think of the clamshell when it used to load in upside down.
Yeah.
And y'all would lose me for like 10 minutes every time it happened.
Y'all want to play some Clambit?
Just like my little guy.
Fuck.
What happened? We can do one of the strikes because I hit E to like hack.
Yeah.
And he was upside down just floating around.
He tripped on the way out.
I just couldn't get it together. And you guys are like, we're doing a nightfall. And I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I'm having a moment.
I'm gone. See ya.
Yeah. Oh dear. What else is going on? Anti-barrier sidearm is back for people that use sidearms. So it's been gone for like 4 weeks. So the issue, I don't know if you're aware, was that anti-barrier sidearm would let you pierce Ward of Dawn, Titan barricades, and was basically just broken as fuck. So they just disabled it, letting me do my favorite thing when mods get disabled, get my artifact up to -1 unlocks. Because
mine's doing that at the moment.
I picked it up and it was still disabled, but it counted it, and now that it's re-enabled, I've got one more than I should have. Anyway, yeah, I was running with the season pass sidearm. What is it? Is it Trespasser? Is that the name?
Something like that. Yeah, the exotic with the laser. It whips.
It's little arc sidearm. Really fun once you get its perk going. Like you get a kill, reload, and then it's shooting 5-round bursts. And if you get a kill, it resets that, reloads the mag. So if you're on like ad clear or just like running some low level shit, you just like empty a room with that fucking thing, and then couple with the fact that you can make it anti-barrier. It's a good time.
Yeah.
But what I was actually doing is I was running some lost sectors, and I was like, oh, anti-barrier sidearm, because these lost sectors are pretty close quarters, the ones that I was doing, I need anti-barrier. So I got out Traveler's Chosen, and it turned out I had the catalyst at about 90% complete. And so Traveler's Chosen's pretty fun. It's a little fiddly. Like you get like a bunch of kills with it, stacks up to 10, and that makes the gun like it boosts all its perks essentially. But you can hold reload to dump those stacks and recharge all your abilities. But when you get the catalyst, it gives it full auto and osmosis. So if you throw your grenade, suddenly it's doing elemental damage matching your subclass. So I was running a lost sector that only had void shields. I was running a void class, and I was basically just killing everything with Traveler's Chosen. So I'd throw the grenade, pop all these things down. If I needed to switch weapons, meaning I lose the osmosis perk, guess what? Use Traveler's Chosen to refill my abilities, throw a grenade, and I've got it back. Like it was actually a really satisfying loop once I figured it out. That gun kind of whips and has me thinking about using it in higher level nightfalls. And I can't believe I'm saying that about a fucking sidearm. It's a good time. Because some of them actually hit way harder than you realize. They're just like little pistols. Not hand cannons, but like they can pack a punch.
Yeah, I tend to, except for cryesthesia, I don't
Mm,
mind using cryesthesia. But like, if I had to pick something for that first slot,
mm,
other than a pulse or a sub, generally it's hand cannons.
yeah,
Let's lie. Let's not lie. It's Thorn.
yeah,
It's Thorn.
yeah,
So I don't really like play with the sidearms a lot
yeah,
unless I've got a bounty that relies on them.
yeah. Like I said, they're good if you're in like a lot of close quarters situations because they're tiny. They don't have a lot of range. But I also have really come to appreciate osmosis as a perk. And the reason for that is the
The
harmonics.
shield popping.
No, harmonic siphon. So with the change to orbs of power,
Oh
one of the
yeah.
helmet mods is a one cost multi kills with weapons matching your element type generate orbs, right? So if you're
Yes.
running kinetic with osmosis, then that's another vector to generate orbs. So I dropped one of
Especially if
the.
you've got other party members who are running.
Well, no, it only counts it for yourself.
Oh,
So
boo.
and that's how orbs have always worked. It's based on like what you do. You're generating orbs. Other people can use the orbs,
Oh,
but they're
I'm
not.
thinking of
Yeah,
wells as well.
sure. But yeah, I dropped one of the seasonal kinetic auto rifles, Firefright, with osmosis, and then this new perk, Well Rounded, which basically is if you use a grenade or land a charged melee hit, it stacks extra damage.
Mm.
So throw grenade, it also does more damage and is now an elemental weapon, but also as a solar titan with a throwing hammer that I can do charge melee hits with a lot. I can just stack that up, and suddenly like kinetic auto rifle is doing a lot of fucking damage.
That'd
It's a
be
good
really
time.
handy with the Warlock's click as well.
Yeah, yeah. If you can get that to regen quickly, to build those
I'm sure
stacks
there's
up.
some. Yeah, I'm sure there's some mods or something that
Yeah,
would help.
there'll be builds for that. But yeah, I've been weirdly messing around with osmosis and sidearms, like with it without really like sitting down and thinking about it. I was like, oh, this gun's actually kind of fun to use just based on how I play. And then I looked at the perks. I was like, oh, that's why osmosis. I
Bungie,
like this.
you're ruining a man.
Turning me in. So at one point, I was running around with 3 solar weapons. Just, I shouldn't be able to do that.
The merciless sun god.
Actually, because I was also running Path of Burning Steps, which I'm using a lot this season with Solar 3.0. So solar
Yeah.
kills boost weapon damage, and that stacks up a bunch. And then there's Titan abilities, Roaring Flames, to like, boost all of it again. So running Nightmare Containments and just clearing all these shit tier ads and just stacking all this extra damage up, it's really satisfying.
Yeah. I'm actually having a lot of fun playing almost like a healing warlock with the
Mm.
solar stuff now too.
Well, after
I've like
fix it up, yeah.
I've like tweaked my build right back and I'm just like, oh, this feels kind of like D1 like
Mm.
restoration warlock kind of
Yeah.
solar.
And then
Feels
I'm
real good.
I'm also a lot running Callus Mini Tool, little solar
Yeah.
SMG. Because I think the one I've got has frenzy and or surrounded. So like if I'm in the middle of a bunch of ads, I'm just like spinning around and spraying it and then reloading very quickly and then just continuing. And then of course burning steps, stacking damage boosts. It's just
Which
very
would be really
satisfying.
handy for when a containment on Leviathan spawns down in that little bit. I can't remember. I think it's Sun,
Oh, like
the doors.
yeah, right down the bottom. No,
No, no, like the
uh,
middle bit.
in
Almost like in the gazebo bit, like
the entrance to
the
dogs,
alcove.
or
I think so, yeah.
yeah,
In the alcove, that can get quite like messy in there.
yeah,
And just outside of it with the amount of scorn that
yeah,
trickle through at the same time as scions and stuff.
yeah.
I can imagine that. Just a nightmare sun boy just
Oh no, my favorite trick is to put the solar grenade warlock staple.
UV index
No,
100.
I put a solar grenade on the door as it's opening, and then they're just walking into it. Then I get all these solar kills. I don't have to
I
do
like doing
anything.
that with vortex grenades, like the void ones.
Yeah, they're
You
so
plant
good.
it on the door and it just sucks them back into the spawn point. You're like,
Yep.
bye.
Yep. Or because when I get a solar melee kill with a Titan, creates a sunspot, and then enemies are just walking through it. Now they're on fire. It's a good loop. I really enjoy
like
solar.
me with my necrotic stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that, but
where
it's fire.
I'm running like volatile and vortex alongside necrotic grips and swarm.
Yep.
And just, you saw in DSC, it was just pink and purple, fucking green and purple everywhere. And it was just causing chain reactions.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bye.
It's very good.
Clearing nukes super quickly because I was just popping people and just walking in another direction. And it's like my kills are just stacking up on the screen.
Yeah.
But I'm looking the other way or I've got a nuke.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this, and like this is not new criticism, but the area on the screen where your active buffs get shown and how it's basically limited to 4, I am really feeling that this season.
Yeah.
Because with my build, I'll have like Roaring Flames off my class, Firewalker from Burning Steps, Charge with Light. If I switch to my rocket launcher, probably Godslayer Warheads. And then there's about like 5 to 6 things that are competing for that space at any one point in time.
You got like overload rounds or perpetual motion. They're ones for me as well.
And I have seen in the last week somebody, making that point clearly to, I think, DMG or one of the other community managers, and they're like, yeah, the team is aware of it, but that is a pretty hard thing to solve. Like, because, like, for example, if
you get people complaining that the screen's too cluttered.
Well, there's a couple ways that other games do this, right? Like if you go and look at something like Diablo 3, they will have like little square icons in a row, and there's like, they fill in a circle to show the cooldown or how long's left on them. And given that it's a PC only game, or at least the way this works on PC, you hover your mouse over it and it tells you what it is and how long it's got left. I don't know how it handles that on console. That would be a hard switch for Destiny because you would have to teach people a set of symbols. Destiny is already rotten with symbols. And then do you just allow more things to fill that space? Because you're probably going to end up hitting the limit again at some point. It's a very difficult design challenge.
It's a balancing act, yeah.
But they are aware of it for sure. Like I would have to imagine the people that work there that play the game also feel it. But there's times like, running Taraba, right? When it's ready to turn it on, it will have the phrase Ravenous Beast in that corner. But if that is bumped off the screen by all these other things going on, I might not know. And then the only other way to tell is to look at the gun, either down the side of it, it's got like a progress thing that fills up, or if you aim down sights and it's got 5 pips under the scope, that is it being full. But that is harder, or cognitively takes slightly longer than just glancing over to see Ravenous Beast.
I mean, even depending on when I had my smaller monitors, I used to just kind of be able to see when I'm wearing my glasses. I could kind of see in my peripheral the buffs, and like if you can catch the end of it, you can roughly know what's going on. Or even then, like for example, in nukes in DSC, if my thing is deactivated, I can see those colors on the side of the screen and almost determine that way without having to do like a full look over and come back. At least those symbols being there kind of helps color-wise.
Yeah.
But also in the middle,
pretty small, and no one knows what the symbols themselves actually mean. It's because there's text there.
In like the middle of a clusterfuck, like we're in the Nightmare Realm against Caiatl, you trying to check your gun, and like it's a lot less convenient than quickly looking and coming back.
Exactly.
And if you get overwhelmed, like me.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would hope that means at some point we see them start to talk about that problem. I don't expect a solve for that anytime soon, because as I said, it's very difficult to get something like that right.
Yeah.
But it's just a natural byproduct of the way that the abilities and power system has grown over time, right? Like there's so many more things that can fill that space. And then depending on what you're doing, there are things that need priority. Like if it's a debuff or something that could kill you in game, you should probably make sure that's always visible. I don't know if, I would imagine they have logic like that. I don't actually know if they've spoken about that, but then it becomes a question of like, okay, what's important? What's more important than what? Like, what's the stack rank of what you should always show versus stuff that's less important that you can kind of leave off?
Yeah.
And it's tough.
That's the
really
the
tough design problem.
Yeah, that's why I'm very patient with developers, especially Bungie, because like I think a lot of people have disillusioned themselves into just thinking, oh, you just go and bang out some code and just implement like a hot fix. It's fine. Flip a switch. And it's like, it's not that.
No, go read a book. Go read a book on software development and how it actually gets done.
Just go watch a VDoc by any development company. Just go watch a behind the scenes for any video game.
Yeah.
Just go watch any of the World of Warcraft behind the scenes stuff and see how fucking hard it is
held
to
together by
implement
chewing
shit.
gum and duct tape.
But especially in like a live game, like an online live piece of content, and trying to actively update that. And it's like doing that, knowing that this piece of code is probably going to break something else. Like,
but yeah, it's I mean, the other side of it is like it has forced me to become more aware of all of the different plates that I'm spinning with my build, right? Like they're all on different timers and cooldowns, and they're all set off by different things. And this has made me a lot more conscious of all the different aspects of it, because I've had to go, okay, I'm charged with light, but I'm actually not sure where I'm outputting charged with light. So I'm just always charged with light. Oh, that's right. I don't have an output. I need to change a mod so that I eventually use this, because otherwise what's the point of having it, right?
Like all the Diablo.
Yeah.
Like playing has also kind of trained you. I think
that is a more recent thing. I'll say that.
If you've ever played a Momorphaga, I feel like your brain is a little bit trained to that as well.
Yeah, it's somewhere
days
between
of
like
playing Final Fantasy 14 and WoW. I felt like a lot of that came back to me.
It's somewhere between the last 3 months, like solo playing a lot of really high end Diablo 3, and then also like going in deep on specific parts of Destiny build crafting. Like I've got a pretty good head for it now. There's definitely parts of D2's build system that I still don't fuck with. Like I have not really ever messed with Warmind cells. Elemental wells are still pretty new to me. I actually don't use them in any of my builds. But I know that I could, and like I know what, and I have at least a surface level knowledge of what those systems can do, so that if an idea came to me of like, oh, I want my void build to function this way, then I know where to look to find the building blocks, essentially. And then I can start to fuck around with it. But at the moment, it's just frisbees and grenades on a Void Titan, or fucking throwing hammers at everything.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Mine's just a lot of green. Time to make things green.
Yes. Which is a good choice.
I see a big Scorn and I want to paint him green.
Make him green and retired.
Green and retired.
Yes. I think the only other notes for me this week are I continue to, as I almost says edge closer, and I don't like that. I continue to crawl towards gilding my dredgen for the 5th time.
Oh, you want to edge the gilded Drusi?
I want to edge the drifter. No. So I think I've only got like 2, maybe 3 of the triumphs to go out of the 6. Reset rank, wins, and then good company, which is the annoying one. Which will just take time, and I played a fair bit of Gambit last week when it was double rank, so I'll probably just wait for that to come around again, because I also have other things to do. So I want to play less Gambit if I can, but I still need to get a whole bunch of wins, which is what's going to take the most time, I think.
I played a bunch of Gambit this week just because some of my seasonal activities
They needed
required
it.
them.
Yeah, you took like 3 of them off. So it was like play Gambit, deposit motes, kill Taken. I think was another one.
Champions,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, it was mostly because I wanted Bright Dust for the Egregore shell.
yes.
I don't actually care about seasonal activities.
That's actually been so. My this week for me has been watching games done quick on one monitor.
Video game donkey, just over and over again.
No, Summer Games Done Quick, which is currently going on.
Donkey done quick.
And then just like ticking off a bunch of the seasonal challenges that I hadn't got to. Because a lot of them were like stun 50 champions or go and do just open world stuff. It's not like
I did a bunch of stuff on the moon, yeah, actually.
And like that's been really chill. I've enjoyed that. Just like hanging out, drink some coffee, watch some speed runs, do some low brain Destiny shit. It's a good time.
No thoughts, only shoot.
Pretty much. It was actually like
no thoughts, only sun.
Yeah, my brain off mode is Solar Titan almost exclusively ability damage.
Yeah.
Just I'm gonna stand in front of this thing and just bounce the hammer off its leg because I catch it, it starts my healing, it gives me the charge back, and I just keep going. It's very good. God, what a game.
What a game. What a time.
What a season.
What a summer.
What a season. Anything else from you this week?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll take that as a no.
I'm just trying to think if I got anything cool, dropped anything cool. No.
And that's okay. There's always next week.
Got a new trash deer build on Dim.
Ooh.
That's about it.
Okay.
And then I got another Dim preload just called Goblin Mode, and it's a high resilience helmet with the Goblin transmog on it.
Good.
And then substitutional alloy transmog on another really good cloak. And then I just run around with necrotics and swarm and something else, and I just call it Goblin Mode.
Well, it's either that or Plague Bearer.
Goblin.
Okay. We'll go with Goblin. In that case, we'll call that a wrap for this week. Yeah, tune in next week for Erico Blueberry. We're probably going to see the end of the season story. We'll hear more. I don't know. Maybe I'll make more progress on Dredgen. I probably won't, but we'll see. Hit all of the buttons under the video. They took away the dislike button, right? Now you can only like. Or did they just stop showing how many people dislike?
They stopped showing how.
Okay.
They stopped showing how many, but you can maybe find extensions that still show it.
Maybe just ignore the dislike button. Hit all the other ones. Put down in the comments your favorite sidearm. And if you don't use one, make up the name of a sidearm.
Destiny 2 gun or Fever Dream?
Ooh.
Destiny lore or Fever Dream?
That is probably pretty accurate. Anyway, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Yeah. See you around.